It goes without saying that many watch collectors despise Hublot. You only need to visit forums or social media to see Hublot being the subject of many jokes. How come though? Hublot receives more than its fair share of criticism, despite the fact that many of the items for which it is criticized are not specific to the brand. Not that the sales of the brand appear to be affected in any way by this. Why do Hublot watches get so much hate? Welcome back to Above First Class. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Depending on their preferences, watch collectors frequently have favorite watches. They have certain tastes in movements, patterns, and what they think is worth the money. However, the community as a whole has a strong, outspoken hatred for Hublot watches. These timepieces have a reputation for being flashy, lacking refinement and innovation. Even while they may occasionally be loud and vulgar, there is often much more going on. The designs, manufacturing standards, price or value, and reputation of the brand are the main Hublot detractors. To clarify why watch collectors despise Hublot so much, we'll go through each of the aspects that influences people's hate of these timepieces in this video. Now, let's examine each in greater depth. Hublot watches are despised by watch collectors because they are unnecessarily pricey, poorly constructed with substandard parts, and have uncreative and tacky designs. Collectors think it disregards the traditions, standards, and reputation of watchmaking. We believe that one of the reasons why Hublot is so despised is because it contributes to the social bonding experience. Everyone needs to go find something to despise, but since Hublot is a huge corporation, not everyone despises them. To put it out there, those who are genuine watch enthusiasts are the ones who hate Hublot. Let's go back in time and see how it all began. When Hublot first started, it was a watch brand owned by MDM. It began in the 1980s by a guy named Carlo Crocco. Hublot, a super contemporary futuristic sports watch with a luxury touch, quickly eclipsed other watch brands as the go-to choice. It was also timed perfectly since the market was just starting to become used to the concept of luxury sports at the same time that Patek, the Nautilus, AP, and the Royal Oak were all making their debuts. Jean-Claude Bivet, a marketing prodigy and industry powerhouse, ended up taking Hublot in 2004. Shortly after, the LVMH group purchased it 4 years later. From there, it developed into a reasonably well-known watch brand. But before we consider its popularity among people who aren't watch lovers, let's take a closer look at what they have to offer. First up is the Classic Fusion. This was developed to be a classier entry into the Hublot collection. It measures 42mm and features a titanium case. It's not a sports watch despite having a water resistance of 50 meters, and an in-house Caliber Hub 1301 movement powers the timepiece. With a remarkable 90 hours of power reserve, this manual wind movement is astounding. The Big Bang, their flagship, is up next. Hublot is well known for this one. It's 41mm wide as well as a steel and ceramic case. It has an automatic chronograph movement and it is water resistant to 100 meters. The Hub 4300 runs at 28,800 beats per hour and has a power reserve of 42 hours and 37 joules. The traditional Fusion isn't too horrible of a choice. The design isn't that great, but that's exactly how the watch looks. It has an in-house movement. Its power reserve is remarkable. Finishing is decent. I think everything is generally in tune with itself as a timepiece. The bundle is fine, but then you see the price. It's around $12,400. So, let's try to support that. This casing is made of titanium, which is a pricey metal to work with, even if the finishing isn't as good since the metal is difficult to manufacture. I don't see how they can charge that much for this watch. This makes the Classic Fusion seem like a good deal. The watch is a chronograph for the following reasons. Remember that the 2892 ETA movement, which costs thousands of dollars, powers this watch. I have nothing against this movement. In fact, I believe that many lower-end watchmakers would just be better off simply adopting ETA movements than attempting to develop their own in-house movements. But continuing the notion of being foolish by charging close to roughly $12,400 for a watch with that movement is absurd. It's just ridiculous. This watch is now consistent with the rest of the set. The only issue is the price, which is a significant barrier. The watch's execution, finishing, appearance, and feel are all consistent with the ETA. I want to be absolutely clear that this is not another attack on ETA. This watch ought to cost less than that. This watch's finishing is subpar. This watch's production quality is poor. And check out those bolts. They don't line up. I would anticipate that those bolts, which are part of the overall price, would be well made and precisely aligned. Even if these bolts are out of alignment, they still function though. The bolt works perfectly, however, given the cost, its appearance must be considered. When you reach that degree of watchmaking, you are ultimately paying for that. Now, I don't believe that Hublot's reputation among watch enthusiasts has been so bad because of this pricey merchandise, since we can actually be able to spot that kind of behavior in many different watch-related contexts. Therefore, I believe that the reason why the watch community despises Hublot so much is due to what Hublot stands for. The watch community disapproves of the way Hublot is advertised, the target audience it pursues, and the lifestyle it attempts to sell. Enjoying this video so far? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I know we're generalizing a lot, but it's funny how non-watch enthusiasts now perceive watches as something we buy to flaunt in any way. Although there are a few exceptions to the rule, we all have various motivations for liking timepieces, but we tend to agree that Hublot is all about showing off timepieces, and we don't like that. Hublot revolves around that outrageous amount of money. It's all about wealth and flaunting that wealth. That is the way of life, centered around that watch. The cost of a new hit may even be considered a benefit of it. The cost is merely an entry barrier, much like the size of a watch. It's doubtful that someone with a small wrist will purchase a huge watch. It's unlikely that someone with a little bank account will purchase an expensive watch. So, in our opinion, the hatred towards Hublot among watch enthusiasts is reasonable. I think they are selling a brand that is not appealing to watch enthusiasts, while selling costly goods. In the end, watch collectors demand a degree of quality that comprises carefully considered designs, in-house movements, unique components, as well as a certain level of finesse. Hublot largely focuses on the appearance to attract watch collectors' interest. Since watch collectors seek out interesting and one-of-a-kind pieces to acquire, this isn't a terrible tactic. However, this indicates that customers are seeking distinctive movements and dials, which Hublot is unable to offer due to the general lack of innovation in their designs. The timepieces are a bad choice for any collector, even when the designs are unique but of poor quality. For those who like the look, Hublot watches such as the Big Bang or Classic Fusion may be perfectly functional, but the price doesn't reflect the caliber of the movement. Some Rolex watches appear to be a bargain when compared to the cost and the caliber of their parts and movements, which is difficult to achieve. The major reason watch enthusiasts despise Hublot is that it has become a brand that everyone loves to despise. The brand is being hated for portraying itself as a professional watchmaker when the majority of collectors would disregard the company as a producer of overpriced fashion watches. These collectors have absolutely excellent reasons to disapprove of the brand, including the ridiculous price tag, lack of attention to detail and quality, and uncreative designs. Another reason why watch collectors despise Hublot is that the company likewise strives to win over customers without actively working on building its name or tradition with high-quality watchmaking. In the end, though, this is simply another opinion, and there's absolutely nothing wrong if you appreciate and love Hublot. We'd love to know what you guys think. Please let us know in the comments section below, and if you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. See you next time on Above First Class.